Hello, everyone, and welcome back to AWS On Air. If you're just joining us, or if this is your first time watching AWS On Air, this is a show where we get to talk about all things AWS and cloud computing. Now, normally we're talking about bits and bytes, we're talking about ones and zeros, but today we're talking about something a little different. We're talking about qubits. It could be a one, could be a zero, could be somewhere in between one and zero. We're talking about quantum computing. And I'm joined by three fantastic folks from the quantum computing space. I'll let y'all introduce yourselves.
Yeah, hi, I am Jordan Sullivan. I am the lead developer advocate for Amazon Braket, which is our AWS quantum computing service. I am also a rotating host on the show, so you may have seen me before, also talking very excitedly about quantum computing. And I am also joined by Daniela, one of my lovely colleagues.
Thank you, Jordan. Hi, everybody. I'm Daniela Becker. I'm a senior product manager on the Amazon Braket team. As Jordan mentioned, the quantum computing service on AWS. In my role, I work very closely with the companies that actually build those very cool devices that we offer access to, such as Alex. And I'm super excited for him to join us today. Alex, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, thanks, Daniela. Super happy to be here. Hi, everyone. I'm Alex Kiesling. I'm the CEO of Quora Computing. We're a leading quantum computing company. We build quantum computers, the whole system, the whole shebang, using neutral atoms. And our first device, Aquila, you might have seen already available on the Braket service since a little over a year ago.
That's awesome. So quantum computing is a exciting space. There's always a lot going on. Jordan, could you catch us up a little bit on what's the latest in the quantum computing space?
I absolutely can, and this is such a great idea for a segment. I'm trying to still come up with a name for it, but we can kind of see how we feel after this first one. All right, so first off, we have Intel launches their first publicly available quantum computer to be available to the research community, and this is a 13-qubit quantum dot machine. So there are actually a bunch of different ways that you can build quantum computers, one of which is like Quora, which Alex is going to talk a little bit more about later, which is with neutral atoms. Another is with quantum dots, which is what Intel is doing. And so that's our first one. Second, we have Fermilab, which is a really famous lab in the Midwest for fundamental physics research, especially around particle physics. And they have recently launched in 2020 a superconducting quantum computing center. And they just last week launched a 600,000 square foot lab and quantum accelerator, along with 34 partners across industry and academia to encourage more growth and R&D in the field in quantum computing. And then our third one, our last news item for this week, is a new quantum startup, which is called Photonic Quantum Computing, and they're doing silicon spin qubits along with silicon photonics. So they're doing a mashup, and they have just raised $100 million. So it's a very exciting time to be in the space of quantum computing if you're on the large industry side like AWS, or if you're on the startup side like Quora. And so I can't wait to talk more about all of that in our segment today.
Excellent. It does sound like a very exciting time to be in the space. And what is AWS doing? Jordan, you want to?
Yes, let's talk about our launch today. So actually, Danielle, let's talk about our launch today.
Yes, let's do that. As mentioned, we're super excited to launch a new program under Amazon Braket that we call Braket Direct. Braket Direct is really intended to expand the ways that customers can explore and experiment with quantum computing on AWS in really two major ways. One, customers can now reserve dedicated access to a QPU or quantum processing unit on Braket. And two, customers can now connect directly with quantum computing specialists to get expert advice on their workloads and refine their results. So together, this program is really designed to help customers get the most out of those quantum devices that are available today. And I think it's super exciting and very unique, because not only are we offering customers new ways of accessing the actual devices, but we're also giving customers ways to access the people that have built those devices, like Alex and other experts in the field, really in order to help them kind of innovate in new ways. And I think this really reflects sort of that quantum is still in this kind of experimental stage, and that is the level of collaboration across the community that we need in order to, get the kinds of breakthroughs to get us out of this phase into the next one. So super excited to make this hopefully very, very easy for customers and connect them with folks like Alex and team using Braket Direct.
So speaking of Alex and Quera, Alex, could you tell us a little bit more about Quera and what your role is going to be in this?
Yeah, absolutely. At Quera, we build quantum computing hardware. We also build software, and we develop applications. We see the need for tackling the full quantum computing problem because of what Daniela was saying about it being so early stage. I can tell you that our hardware is quite unique. We have quantum computers that we are building and that we've built. And the physical platform that underlies them is different than most of the other quantum computers that you'll find out there. Our qubits are individual neutral atoms that we very tightly focus lasers, and we hold on to individual atoms that we can move and manipulate. So we take the fundamental unit of matter in the atom and we turn it into the fundamental unit of information in the qubit. That's how our hardware operates. On Braket, we have our first device available since a little bit over a year ago, Aquila. This gives users access to up to 256 qubits that they can program. It uses a mode of programming that we call an FPQA, reminiscent of the FPGAs, where you get to embed your problem very efficiently in hardware. We're doing the same thing. Users, it sounds a little sci-fi, but users really get to pick where exactly the atoms are going to be, and that allows them to very efficiently take problems and embed them into the processor itself. The device works in an analog computational mode, what we call the analog Hamiltonian simulator. And it's been a thrill to see people using Aquila to solve problems in combinatorial optimization and simulating other quantum systems, and recently also in machine learning.
And can I just actually interject? When we first launched Quera on Braket, the device was available for 10 hours per week. Since then, about a year later, we've expanded it to more than 100 hours per week. Now, for most folks that are watching, regardless of your background, you'll probably agree that kind of building a quantum computer sounds like an arguably hard thing. That is hard, but try building one and then operating one reliably for 100 hours every single week. So, massive kudos again to Alex and team for that feat, obviously, and super excited to have even more time for customers to innovate on that device too.
Thanks, and I'm really looking forward to customers being able to get the results much faster.
Now, I understand there may be a theme to your device names or a backstory behind the name Aquila.
Yeah, there is a theme. When we were building the first device, we realized that we were going to want a self-consistent naming scheme. And when you look at the pictures that we take of individual atoms, we take pictures, and on the screen they look like beautiful stars on a night sky. So we decided to go with constellation names, and the first one had to have a Q. So Aquila is the eagle constellation.
Can't have a quantum name without a Q.
Of course not.
Unless you're Braket.
Unless you're Braket. we like to be a dark horse. Awesome. So Daniela, actually, as we have said, the Aquila device became available about a year ago. So what are some of the new ways that with Braket Direct customers can interact with the system, with the team?
Absolutely. So as we've mentioned earlier, up until now, over the past year for Aquila, Braket has offered on-demand access to this device and other quantum computers, meaning each device is sort of a shared resource where you submit your program, or what we call a circuit, and you get your results whenever you get to the front of the queue and whenever the device is available. And this form of access is great for prototyping and early experimentation. And, of course, you only pay for what you use. And so it's a very cost-efficient way of experimenting and kind of iterating on your algorithms. But we've also heard from customers that sometimes they have workloads that require dedicated device access, meaning you get 100% of the device capacity dedicated to you for a period of time, and it's truly kind of exclusive to your use case. And so, for example, if you have time-sensitive workloads where you really need to have your results before a certain point in time, I'm sure any researchers watching right now will know exactly what I mean, publication deadlines. Or, maybe you're a startup and you're running a live demo, and you want to make sure that you're actually kind of showing live results from a QPU that you're working on during that time. Those are very common use cases where you would want dedicated device access. And so this is why now through Braket Direct, we're also offering customers the ability to make reservations on the device exactly for those types of workloads. And so customers can schedule dedicated access at their convenience, and whenever sort of makes sense to them. And additionally, as I mentioned earlier, we're also providing customers with ways to get expert advice. So now customers have all the resources and all the tooling and all the access and all the expertise they could possibly need to actually accomplish their research goals all in one place. And by the way, that goes as far as billing. So even if you have expert advice options that you'd like to choose for your workload, any of those charges get billed to your AWS account. No need to onboard a third party or change your procurement processes or do anything else administrative for that. And we really wanted to make this as simple as possible, as centralized as possible for customers.
Yeah, and we're going to see how all of that works in just a moment, and I'm very excited for everybody to see how it works all together. Just really quick though, so you mentioned that customers can make reservations by the hour. So how can they best make use of the time on the device?
Yeah, great question. So obviously, when you make reservations and you get dedicated access, every second is precious. And so it was very important for us to ensure that customers can really make the most of that time. So for one, you can actually pre-queue your workload. So if you know that you have a reservation scheduled, let's say next week, you can already start working on, the programs and workloads that you're going to run during that time and queue that in advance, such that, window opens and you're ready to go and everything starts executing. And then on top of that, we also understand that, as you're preparing for a reservation, you might have questions. You might want to wonder about, are there best practices I should follow? And so actually with every reservation you make, you can book a free 30-minute reservation prep session with one of our Braket experts that will basically just kind of walk through what are your goals with this, what is the type of workload you want to run, and offer any guidance around best practices for, Braket features or other things that are relevant for that.
Yeah, that's awesome. So we've been kind of talking a lot about the kind of end customer side of things. So I'm really curious, Alex, can you tell us a little bit about why Quera as a hardware startup in the quantum space, why you were excited about this new program?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, many reasons. Most of them actually come down to still the end user and our customers, right? We want to make sure that people get access to the best hardware, of course, and we've been doing this for a while, but also that they get the most value out of it. And now being able to provide expert advice with all of the learnings that we've accumulated over many years of building and operating this technology, this is super important for us because we want to see our customers succeed. We want to learn what they're doing. We want them to inform us so that we can design the next generation devices to address the kinds of problems that they're trying to solve and to really empower them. So all of these things are things that we're very excited about, to be able to be to provide that expert advice. But also we think that users being able to block out times where it's kind of also a focus time for themselves, where they can very quickly iterate on the algorithms and applications that they're developing, where they can get data in real time, analyze it, and based on that make an informed decision about how to iterate on the design of their algorithms. I think that this is exactly the kind of thing that especially at the stage of quantum computing, where we're all still trying to figure out exactly how to get the most value out of it, that this is what's going to drive innovation and customer success. So being connected with customers and giving them all the tools to succeed with this focus time, I think is something that is going to be quite important.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think like as somebody who was more familiar with the kind of other paradigms of quantum computing before learning about analog Hamiltonian simulation, which is what the Aquila device provides. It's been really cool seeing the kinds of papers that have come out over the past few years, the people who are actually using the device through Braket and the new types of problems that they're able to approach. So I just want to second that. Alrighty, so let's get into this demo, right?
Yeah, let me bring this up. There we go.
Wonderful. So I hope everyone's super excited about this. I hope everyone's really familiar with this, but if not, this is the Braket Service Console within the AWS Management Console. So if you're new to Braket, this is where you would typically land. Just brief overview on sort of what things look like today as a sort of status quo up before this launch. We offer an overview of all of the devices that we offer access to, actually both classical and quantum, so you do see some simulators here too. But for example, here is Aquila, and in here, you will see sort of the current availability window and current availability status of the device, which is what typically you would have used over the past year to understand when you can, expect your task to execute. And so here it'll tell you, the next availability window is open in 2.5 hours or so. If you want to dig in even more, we do offer sort of an overview of all of the availability windows here as well. So anytime you wanted to execute your programs on demand, these are roughly the times during which the device will actually be available for your use. And you can also use the queue visibility information here to understand where you are in that queue. Now, if you don't want to wait in a queue and you want to get dedicated access, now you can also reserve time on this device. And it is as simple as pulling up this form here, telling us a little bit more about what your workload is about. You can indicate whether you would be interested in this reservation prep session I mentioned earlier. Again, just ways to kind of set you up for success, no additional charge. And then someone from the Braket team will basically get back to you to confirm a reservation for you. As I mentioned earlier, Braket Direct does like to combine everything in one place. So we do offer this sort of all in one overview here too, where next to reservations, you also have options for expert advice over here. And as you can see, there's a variety of options here. So starting with Braket Office Hours, which is basically a monthly installment that you can sign up for, again, totally free, 30 minutes with one of our Braket experts, where you can bring your own questions or discussions or topics that you'd like to discuss. For example, if you're looking to explore a specific research idea, figuring out how to use the Braket SDK, or have other questions around Braket features, this is a great opportunity to connect with us directly and talk to us. All you need to do is fill out this form, and we'll sign you up for the next available slot. And we also offer, in collaboration with all of our quantum hardware providers, so specific guidance around those particular devices. And so looking, for example, at Quera's offerings here, there's an option here to have no cost consultation with them. And we expect obviously that those will be expanded over time as well with other types of guidance here too. As I mentioned earlier, all of this lives within AWS. So these offerings are hosted on the AWS Marketplace, which enables you as an AWS customer to do all of this through your AWS account. So you don't need to sign up anywhere else or do anything else. It's all kind of bundled within one place. And all you do here to kind of reach out is basically fill out this form, and it'll connect you to Quera in this case. And then last, but certainly not least, we also have the Amazon Quantum Solutions Lab, or QSL, which is basically a team of professional services members that will engage with you on a very, very deep level for research engagements that range from not only quantum computing, but also go beyond that. And so depending on what your needs are, again, you have an option here to connect with those folks, just offer some context, and again, someone will reach out to you for that. And this was very quick because it's hopefully so simple and easy to understand.
Yay, unified user design.
Well, simple is exactly what is needed to start tackling complex problems with quantum computing. It looks like this is a toolkit that has everything that I need. And it's the best in the world devices, best in the world experts, getting access to everything I need to get started with quantum computing. That's amazing.
That was the intent.
Awesome.
Jordan, do you have any, Daniel, Alex, do you have any closing thoughts about how folks should get started with this, other than just going ahead and signing up for office hours? It sounds like.
Dive right in, office hours, man.
You said it. That's it. I mean, check out obviously the resources that I'm sure we'll post here, Power Pages, documentation, everything's there. But other than that, all you need is an AWS account. Go into the console and get started.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds great for researchers, sounds great for startups, it sounds great for even large corporations that want to see if quantum computing could be right for one of their workloads that they haven't considered yet.
Absolutely.
This has been very informative for me, and I'm sure it'll benefit a lot of the folks watching who are interested in quantum computing as well. Thank you very much for joining us today to talk about the recent advances in quantum computing and the improvements to Braket and Braket Direct for getting started with quantum computing.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure chatting with all of you.